Hello students, I welcome to all of you to this session of refrigeration and air conditioning. Dear students, you know that last few class we have discussed the air refrigeration system, where we have seen that how the in the aeroplane or aircraft how the air refrigeration system is operating, and by the help of gas turbine how the main compressor is operated, and also we have seen how in the cabin in the aircraft cabin how much amount of refrigeration effect we are getting. So all this was discussed, and there the refrigerant was as air. Okay, but here you can see the today we are going to discuss about the new module, a new module, vapor compression refrigeration system, module number 3. So here basically the particular refrigerant, it may be liquid ammonia, maybe R134A, maybe R22, and all this. What is R134A, what is R22, that will be discussed afterward. But right now, first of all, let us introduce myself. I am Dhiraj Mondal, Assistant Professor, JS College of Engineering. This is my YouTube channel, DM Study Center. In case any all the video lecture is uploaded here, you can see a different playlist is made. Okay, so you can follow my YouTube channel and subscribe my channel for getting for everyday notification and the video. Next, PDF, for in case if you want to get PDF, then this is the Telegram channel. Here you will be getting the PDF, okay, and notes. This is my Facebook page and email ID. You have to submit the assignment in this email ID. This is my phone number. Any kind of query you can ask me here. Also in related to admission, you can, this is the 1 minute please. This is the contact number. In case if you want to join the JS College of Engineering Mechanical Engineering department, you can call here, or this is the Gmail, your email ID of the admission cell. This is your college website. In case of any doubt, you can ask, you can call here, okay, or you can call me. This is my phone number, you can call me here. So let us start. Refrigeration and air conditioning, vapor compression refrigeration system. So what do you mean by vapor compression refrigeration system? You know that as the name suggests, vapor compression refrigeration system, vapor is compressed and then some refrigeration effect is getting. So here we will be discussing about the introduction of simple vapor compression refrigeration system, function of parts of the vapor compression refrigeration system, then vapor compression refrigeration cycle on temperature entropy diagram, pressure enthalpy diagram, okay, simple vapor compression cycle on pH chart, then factors affecting the performance of the simple vapor compression refrigeration system, very important. That means how the COP of the refrigeration system we can increase, we can maximize, that will be discussed. After that we will know how the actual vapor compression refrigeration system is operating. Volumetric efficiency, very important, already you have gone through in IC engine and as well as thermodynamics. Mathematical analysis of vapor compression refrigeration system will be discussed, and after that some numerical, okay, so all these will be discussed. So very important topic in refrigeration and air conditioning, because most of the cycle is operated by vapor compression refrigeration system. That means whatever the in your home there is a fridge in your home, a refrigeration, whatever the refrigeration system you are having, that is basically based on mainly domestic, it is used for mainly domestic purpose. So that is your vapor compression refrigeration system. So in your home refrigerator or fridge is there, okay, this fridge is basically operated by VCRS, vapor compression refrigeration system. Okay, so the practical application means mainly commercial and domestic utility is more. So how it is operated, that will be discussed. So first of all, before coming to this discussion, do you know the latent heat, definition of latent heat and sensible heat? So basically, first of all, let us discuss about the latent heat and sensible heat. Latent heat basically amount of heat added or extracted from the system so that the phase is changing. Okay, so phase is changing but temperature is constant here. Sensible heat is that type of heat where if we add or if we extract the heat from a particular system, then the temperature is changing but there is not any kind of phase change. Phase is constant here. Okay, so phase is not changing, you can see. Now vapor compression refrigeration system, it is basically operated by four main devices. Okay, one is your compressor, one is your condenser, one is your evaporator, one expansion valve. Now how this vapor compression efficiency system operated, that I am going to discuss here. So first of all, in the diagram you can see this is a compressor part. From this compressor the air is a particular refrigerant, it is compressed and it is coming to the condenser section. Here the refrigerant is condensed and it is coming to the receiver tank where it is stored, and after that it is coming to the expansion valve. Suddenly the particular refrigerant is expanded and temperature and pressure falling down and it is coming to the evaporator again. This is the deep freeze. Okay, now main component are compressor, condenser, evaporator and expansion valve. Now if I am talking about, let us consider this is a evaporator, this is a compressor, this one is your condenser and this one is your expansion valve. Now what happened, the cycle is operated like this. Now let us consider this is the surrounding, and from the surrounding Q2 amount of heat is added into the system. This is your deep freeze in your home, in your freeze where ice cube is made. Okay, so let us consider Q2 amount of heat is added to the system, and whatever the refrigerant in this liquid refrigerant in this evaporator, that liquid refrigerant it is taking some heat from the outside when the heat is entering into the system, it is taking that heat and suddenly it is some latent heat is taken and suddenly it is changing its phase, and at low temperature, low pressure, vapor vapor and refrigerant it is entering to the compressor. In the compressor WC amount of work is given where it is compressed. If it is compressed, then pressure is increasing, temperature is increasing and volume is decreasing. Am I right? So what will happen, at the outlet of the compressor we will be getting the high pressure, high temperature superheated refrigerant. In the condenser, when it is entering into the condenser is nothing but heat exchanger, and it is basically used to condense the refrigerant which is entering into the system. So by the help of condenser, Q1 amount of heat is rejected to the surrounding, and at the outlet what we are getting, high pressure low temperature liquid refrigerant, and suddenly it is expanded in the expansion valve, and at the outlet of the expansion valve what we are getting, that is a very low temperature low pressure liquid refrigerant. In the meantime, there is some heat which is added into the system, and again this heat is taken by the refrigerant, and again phase is changing, again in the compressor, again in the condenser, again in the expansion valve. This is how the process is going on. Now, what I have discussed in the compressor, what happened? The process name is your compression. In the condenser, what is happening? Condensation. In the expansion valve, the process name is expansion, and in the your evaporator, evaporation or vaporization, you can say. So what I have discussed, that is drawn here. So first of all, you tell me, if I am having some ice cube, temperature minus 100 degree centigrade, or your temperature is your 10 degree centigrade, whatever, 10 degree centigrade. Now minus 10 degree centigrade, I am just heating up that particular ice. Then what happened? Some heat is added, then it will reach to 0 degree centigrade ice cube. Am I right? Ice, 0 degree centigrade ice. By taking some sensible heat, again I am heating up that particular ice, so it will make 0 degree centigrade water by taking latent heat. Okay, again I am heating up, so it will make 100 degree centigrade water by taking sensible heat. So 0 degree centigrade to 100 degree centigrade water. Why 100 degree? Because this is the saturation temperature, and after that if you are again heating up, then it will the water is getting vaporized. Okay, so again I am heating up, so what will happen? It will take some latent heat, and some vapor will form. Okay, so this is your water, and this is your vapor. Clear? This is your water, and this is your ice cube. Okay, so what happened? It will be 100 degree centigrade. First of all, 100 degree centigrade vapor by taking latent heat. Again I am heating up, so then what will happen? It will take again sensible heat, then superheated vapor will made. Okay, so this is the conversion. When the some heat is added to the system, then how it is how the one phase to another phase is changing by the help of latent heat, and if the temperature is raising, then it will take some sensible heat. Okay, so I think it is clear. Now let us discuss the vapor VCRS, what I have discussed right now few minutes before, that this is a evaporator, this is a compressor, this one is your condenser, and this one is your expansion valve made by copper tube and all this. So what happened, we cannot make any kind of adiabatic wall. So from the surrounding, this is your surrounding, from the surrounding always heat is basically second law of thermodynamics. It is basically interchangeability of heat and work. So heat is basically the temperature is basically flowing from higher temperature reservoir to lower temperature reservoir. Okay, then if I say that water is flowing from higher elevation to lower elevation, okay, this is a spontaneous process. So what happened, the system temperature, let us consider your minus 10 degrees centigrade, and surrounding temperature right now 30 degrees centigrade. So what will happen, there is some pressure gradient 20 degree. Okay, so because of that pressure gradient, the heat is basically, it will be added into the evaporator, and in the evaporator let us consider the ammonia. Ammonia is your one kind of refrigerant. What is the function of refrigerant? It is basically used to produce refrigeration effect by taking latent heat from the system, and that heat is basically released to the surrounding. So why we have taken this liquid refrigerant? Because the boiling point of liquid ammonia is your minus 33.3 degrees centigrade. Okay, so can you imagine, when the temperature is minus 33.3 degrees centigrade, the particular ammonia starts boiling. So in the cold storage you must have seen that ammonia is taken, the ammonia, you can see in the cold storage we are using ammonia for refrigeration purpose. The smell you can see, it is your ammonia. Now what happened, minus 33 point, as it is it raised this temperature. That means whenever this particular, in the evaporator, whenever the heat is added, Q2 amount of heat is added to the evaporator, then it is taking that particular heat as latent heat, and at the outlet of the evaporator what we are getting, liquid vapor ammonia, but at low temperature and low pressure. Okay, now it is entering into the compressor. It is basically a reciprocating compressor we are using right now. So in the compressor basically it is used to compress something. Okay, compress the particular substance. So when it is compressed, then pressure is basically, what happened, pressure is increasing, temperature is also raised, and volume is decreasing. So as a result, at the outlet of the compressor what we are getting, high pressure, high temperature, high temperature ammonia, vapor ammonia. Now in the condenser what happened, it is condensed. So it is basically nothing but a heat exchanger which is taking some heat from the refrigerant, and that heat is released to the surrounding. So Q1 amount of heat is released to the surrounding by the help of this condenser. Okay, now at the outlet of the condenser what we are getting, high pressure, low temperature liquid refrigerant. Now it is suddenly expanded in the expansion valve. We will be getting, at the outlet of the expansion valve, we will be getting low temperature, low pressure ammonia or refrigerant, liquid refrigerant. When it is entering into this evaporator, meanwhile some heat is added into the system. Then again in this latent heat is taken from the system, from the refrigerant, and again it is vaporized as low temperature, low pressure NH3 vapor, then again compressed, then again condensed, then again expanded. Okay, so this is the process. By the help of that, the particular VCRS is operated. We will be talking about the COP, how we can calculate the COP of the VCRS. So you know the COP is equal to what? Refrigeration effect by work input. So here refrigeration effect is the COP is equal to refrigeration effect by work input. So WC by Q2 by WC. This is the refrigeration effect. Now you know that enthalpy is nothing but a heat content. Okay, function of heat content. Okay, so in terms of enthalpy, we can find out the COP also. Okay, how we can find out COP? If I draw the TS diagram, do you know TS diagram? In thermodynamics you have gone through this TS diagram. So basically TS diagram is the representation of the heat transfer. Now if I am talking about the TS diagram, temperature entropy diagram, so let us consider 1 2 3 4. So 1 to 2 is your evaporator. Here Q2 amount of heat is extracted, W2 to 3 is your compressor, WC amount of heat is WC amount of work is given, and Q2 3 to 4 is your Q1 condenser, where W1 amount of heat is rejected to the surrounding, and this is your isenthalpic process. Enthalpy is equal to constant. Okay, so this is all about the TS diagram. Now this is the refrigeration effect. This is the refrigeration effect. So COP is equal to Q2 by this one is your work done, WC. Now if I am talking about the enthalpy, then refrigeration effect Q2 is equal to what? H2 minus H1. Why? If I am putting the steady flow energy equation from 1 to 2, then H1 is equal to H1 plus Q2. Q2 is adding na. H1 plus Q2 is equal to H2. So Q2 is equal to H2 minus H1. Clear? By the help of steady flow energy equation in between 1 and 2 point. Okay. Next. So here basically Q2 is equal to H2 minus H1. What is the WC? Same process. H3 is equal to WC plus H2. Putting the steady flow energy equation in between 1, 2 and 3. So WC is equal to H3 minus H2. So this is the COP of the vapor compression refrigeration system. You need to know the enthalpy value. And by the help of Mollier diagram, Mollier chart, or by the help of steam table, you can easily find out steam table, by the help of refrigeration table. You can find out by the help of refrigeration table, you can find out the value of enthalpy at point 1 2 3 4, and H4 is equal to H1. Remember, because it is your isenthalpic process. The expansion is going on in isenthalpic. That means the process name is your isenthalpic process. Okay. So I hope it is clear how we can find out the COP of a vapor compression refrigeration system. TS diagram basically it is the temperature entropy diagram, and it is the representation of the heat transfer. How much amount of heat is transferred from the system, or how much amount of heat is added to the system. The temperature entropy is all right. Okay. But PV diagram, if I am talking about the PV diagram, so PV diagram is the representation of the work transfer. Okay, how much work is done. Clear? Now let us consider and discuss. I hope it is clear that how the vapor compression refrigeration system is operated. If it is not clear, write down in the comment section. I will be get back to you. Okay. I will be getting back to you for the by taking a doubt clearing class. Okay. So next is your merits and demerits of vapor compression refrigerant system. You know that everything is having some merits and demerits. So first of all, let us discuss about the merits. Why we are using this vapor compression VCRS. So CAP is quite high as the working of cycle is very near to the near to that of reverse Carnot cycle. So you will see that the COP is very high. Okay, you see very not very high, but COP is comparatively high, and as because it is near to the reverse Carnot cycle. Already I have discussed reverse Carnot cycle. When used on ground level, the running cost of vapor compression refrigeration system is only 1/5 of the air refrigeration system. So whenever we used on ground level, running cost is very low. Okay, running cost of vapor VCRS is only 1/5 of air refrigeration system. If 100 rupees is cost for air refrigeration system, then it will be 1/5 money 20. Okay. For the same refrigeration effect, the size of the evaporator air is smaller. Okay, evaporator air very smaller. Okay, for same refrigeration effect, the size of the evaporator smaller. Next is your the required temperature of evaporator can be achieved simply by adjusting the throttle valve of the same unit. So you know that the temperature of the evaporator, how we can achieve by simply adjusting the throttle valve of the the same unit. The demerits, initial cost is high, and the major disadvantage is inflammable leakage of vapor and toxicity. These have been overcome to great extent by improving in design. Okay, so if you if you want to get overcome, if you want to overcome this one, then what happened, you have to, that means some improvement in the design is needed. Okay, so this is all about the merits and demerits of the vapor compression refrigeration system. Now let us discuss about the function of the parts of simple vapor compression refrigeration system. So first of all, I have told you that mainly 4 parts: compressor, okay, discharge line, condenser, expansion valve, and evaporator. These are the 4 main function parts. Okay, these are the 4 devices. By the help of that, the particular refrigeration system is operated. Okay, so first of all, compressor is nothing but a compression device. It is basically used to compress the refrigerant which is entering into the system, and at the outlet we are getting high temperature, high pressure refrigerant. Okay, next is your condenser. If I am talking about the condenser, the function of condenser is to provide a heat exchanger surface through which heat passes from the hot refrigerant vapor to condensing medium. So we will be discussing about the condenser. You will see that the evaporative condenser, air condenser, okay, evaporative condenser, okay, water cooling condenser, evaporative condenser, air cooling condenser. All these are the types of condenser. We will be discussing it afterward. Receiver tank. One receiver tank we are using. So receiver tank is used to provide storage of a condensed liquid so that a constant supply of liquid is available to the evaporator as required. You can see in this diagram there is a receiver tank. It is basically used to provide a constant flow of refrigerant. When there is some crisis, then it is in the particular receiver tank, it is supplying the refrigerant. Okay, next is your expansion valve. Expansion valve is basically, it is a device where the suddenly the volume is expanding and pressure and temperature is falling down, so that we are getting low temperature, very low temperature, low pressure refrigerant. Its function is to meter the proper amount of the refrigerant to the evaporator and to reduce the pressure of liquid entering the evaporator, so that the liquid will vaporize in the evaporator at the desired low temperature and take out sufficient amount of heat. Now let us talk about the evaporator. What is the function of evaporator? An evaporator provides a heat transfer surface through which heat can pass from the refrigerated space into the vaporizing refrigerant. Okay, so in the evaporator, what we will see, this is your evaporator. In the evaporator, what happened? The refrigerant, the particular refrigerant which is entering into the system from the expansion valve, and heat is taken, latent heat is taken in the evaporator. The refrigerant is taking some heat, and it is at the outlet of the evaporator what we are getting, low pressure, low temperature vapor refrigerant. Okay, so the function of the evaporator is to evaporate or changing the phase of the refrigerant. Okay, it is also one kind of heat exchanger, you can say. Okay, so this is all about the vapor compression refrigerant system basic concept, the diagram, how it is operated, and the TS diagram also discuss. You know that this is your TS diagram, temperature entropy diagram. This is the vapor dome. This point is called critical point. This is your this line is called your saturated liquid line. This line is your saturated vapor line. Okay, and this is the L plus V. This one is your L, this is your V. Okay, liquid spread plus vapor, and this one is your liquid, a vapor. So this is your TS diagram, temperature entropy diagram, and I hope it is clear. Next class we will be discussing about the simple vapor compression cycle on temperature entropy diagram. What are the condition when it is the vapor is dry at the outlet of the compressor, when the vapor is superheated, when the vapor is, that will be discussed. When the vapor is wet in nature, then what will happen, that phenomena will be discussed in the next class. So today up to this you have to submit this assignment. What I have discussed, that is your assignment. You can write down the questions and find out, write describe the function of vapor compression refrigerant system, and with its state its devices which are used here, and what are the function of that particular device. Okay, so this is your assignment. You can submit to me. Where you have to submit, this is my email ID. Here you can submit any kind of admission purpose. You can call me here. This is my phone number. So today up to this, thank you for listening. Jai Hind.